The president says he means no harm, nor is he seeking to punish the public protector by considering a possible suspension of her, this pending an inquiry into her fitness to hold office. Busisiwe Mkhwebane was back in the High Court in the Western Cape today. She has asked the court to force the president to withdraw his suspension letter to her. Parliament also put its case to the court today, and it says that SMS sent to Parliament's lawyer seeking to preempt the outcome of a constitutional court application involving Mkhwebane has no bearing on its business. Lindsay Dentlinger has been following the second day of the case. She joins us now. So, Lindsay, I understand this SMS got more focus today in the response. So tell us about that.
Yeah, so Sally, we actually got to hear from the man himself who received the SMS, which was the person representing Parliament in this matter, Advocate Andrew Breitenbach, telling the court exactly the timeline of when he received that SMS, what he believed the intention of that SMS was, and the fact that he said he reported it immediately to the other counsel involved in this matter, informed the court about it. You will recall that 3 weeks ago when this matter tried to get off the ground, it was stalled because of this very SMS. He says he believes that the intention of the person who sent it was thwarted in that he got some of the facts firstly wrong in terms of guessing when the rescission application would be, and there would be an outcome to it. That was wrong, and so he says that it turns out that it really didn't affect these proceedings too much, and it's certainly in terms of how it affects Parliament and Parliament continuing with its business. Andrew Breitenbach telling the court he doesn't believe that it impacts Parliament at all. You will recall that the Public Protector yesterday argued that it wanted Parliament to halt its proceedings until the Chief Justice has completed this probe that we know that he has ordered into this SMS. But Andrew Breitenbach says it's highly unlikely that any Constitutional Court judges who were involved in this particular rescission application, which we now know was dismissed and was not in the favour of the Public Protector, that they were involved in any way in leaking any information from the court, if indeed information was leaked. But here is Andrew Breitenbach putting his side to the court today.
The objective facts, unlike the speculation, but the objective facts to which I'm going to refer point to there being very little prospect of the Chief Justice's investigation revealing that one or more of the justices of the court who participated in the decision to dismiss her first rescission application were responsible for any leak from within the CC to Mr. Abramji.
Of course, the bigger context to this is that the Public Protector is trying to stop Parliament from going ahead with any impeachment proceedings against her. She's also fighting the fact that the President issued her a notice to suspend her in the meantime. So the President's lawyers were speaking about that today. What did they say?
So by and large, they're saying that the President doesn't mean to be to prejudice the Public Protector in any way. You will recall that yesterday Busisiwe Mkhwebane argued that this would be prejudicial towards her. It would impugn her reputation and her dignity if she were to be suspended. But today Carisha Pillay, arguing for the President, said anything but. She said the President had only asked Mkhwebane to provide reasons why she should not be suspended, and that was back in March when there was no legal impediment preventing him from asking her to provide him with these responses. Subsequent to that, there has still not been any response from the Public Protector, because if anything, they've argued today in court that the President has given her all this time. The deadlines keep moving out. Initially it was giving her 10 days, and she now has until the 26th of March, so it's almost been 2 months since she has been asked to provide these reasons. And you will recall that the Public Protector said that the President is too conflicted to even consider suspending her. Not so, says his legal counsel today. They say the president is acting in his official capacity, and these investigations that the public protector has cited, which in her view makes the president too conflicted. The counsel for the president arguing that those are personal matters against the president in his capacity as either the president or the deputy president, and that in fact, if the president did not provide the public protector with the opportunity to explain herself before he takes any decision either way whether or not to suspend her, he would in fact not be or could be seen not to be carrying out his duties effectively enough. So the court repeatedly over the last 2 days wanting to know from all sides whether by suspending the public protector could be viewed as a punitive step, and not so, says the president. Here he is, legal counsel Carisha Pillay.
On the face of it, it really is unprecedented relief. It's asking that this court give a mandate to the head of state to withdraw a letter, the lawfulness of which has not been determined by any court as yet. And so what immediately emerges from that, Justices, is the fact that it cannot be granted by way of interdictory relief. And it can't be granted by way of interdictory relief because the import of what is being sought is an order regulating past conduct. And we know full well that an interdict cannot regulate past conduct, except, of course, when there's continuing harm.
And Lindsay, I understand court's still underway. Is it going to wrap up today? Are we going to get a judgment anytime soon?
Well, it's been 2 marathon days, Sally, and yes, the Public Protector's Legal Counsel, Darlin Mpofu, is now responding as we speak still to the arguments raised by the Legal Counsel for Parliament, for the President, and later this afternoon we also heard briefly from the DA, which set this whole ball in motion in the first place to ask Parliament to investigate the Public Protector. And so he's responding to those arguments, but I did hear him say before I left court that he would have to wrap it up tonight because he has to catch a plane back to Johannesburg, and I think certainly the matter has only been set down for these 2 days, and they've been sitting beyond the court hours, sitting early in the morning and going on until way after regular court hours. And so I would expect that this full bench would reserve judgment to a date still to be decided so that they can confer these very weighty and complex matters.
Thank you so much for that update. That's our reporter Lindsay Dentlinger in Cape Town.